for tomorrow to witness greatness. We ain't going back. We've got big things to do, big shoes to fill, big dreams to realize. We ain't afraid of nothing. No nonsense, no fear. Oh yeah, we're ready. So America, welcome to Chicago. We've got our dancing shoes on. We've got our game faces on. America, we look like you, sound like you, work like you, dream like you. We feel you, America. We see you, America. Hey, make some noise so we can hear you, America. Welcome to Chicago.
Hello, my friends, my fellow Democrats. I started my journey to this stage in 1988. I was 12 years old, and my family was watching the Democratic National Convention. Now, to be honest, I wanted to watch something else. But we all knew when my grandfather sat in his chair, the TV was his. But folks, when Reverend Jackson came on, I paid attention. A black man from South Carolina, raised by a single mother. That was me. And as long as I live, I will never forget what he said. He challenged young people to hope and to dream. So that's exactly what I did. I dreamed big, I worked hard, and I never lost hope. When our power was cut off, when there was nothing in the fridge, when we lost our home to a con man, I never lost hope. And now, my friends, I'm standing on the same convention stage that inspired me. And I'm the chair of the Democratic Party, the world's oldest political party. Folks, only in America. And that's the beautiful thing about this country that I love so much. Hope and hard work can take you anywhere. You can go to college, you can start your own business, you can even win the Olympics. That's the America Democrats believe in, and that's the America Democrats are fighting for. So 4 years ago, my friends, we were a country divided by fear, and we were stuck under a man who preached bigotry and hatred. Hope was lost. But my friends, we found hope in President Biden and Vice President Harris, and the 80 million Americans who stood by their side. And now we are united. We're united in our pursuit of progress. Because, my friends, they saw us. They fought for us. They heard us. And under their transformational leadership, we have forgiven billions in student loans. We have expanded access to health care, and we have strengthened the middle class. But the fight continues, and there is still more work to do. You know, I know that when we elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, they will build on our accomplishments, and they will create a country that works for every American. They will invest in our dreams and our futures, and hope will light our path forward. They will lead us in the fight for America, and believe me, when we fight, we win. And folks, we can never forget who we are fighting for. This election is about Americans who are watching right now, wondering, who's going to finally pave that dirt road or make it easier to feed their family or get medical bills under control? This election is about those who believe anybody can achieve their dreams if they work hard and trust in the endless possibilities of America. This election is about communities who need to see that hope and joy will always overcome fear and chaos. This election is about every little boy inspired by a party chair who looks like him and every little girl who will finally see a president who looks like her. My friends, we are paving a path for them. We're working toward a brighter future for them, and we need each and every one of you to join us. In my beloved home state of South Carolina, our motto is, while I breathe, I hope. Folks, I believe in the power of hope, but it's going to take more than hope to win this election. So in the next 78 days, our motto can't be just, while I breathe, I hope. It must be, while I breathe, I vote. Because that is how we make hope real for all of America. America, let's vote for Democrats up and down the ticket. Let's save our democracy, and let's vote for our MVP, Kamala Harris, and our coach, Tim Walz. Thank you all so much for being here. And now, it is indeed my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, who will be co-chair for tonight. This is a young woman who is the current lieutenant governor of the great state of Minnesota. And when Tim Walz becomes vice president, she will become the first Native American governor in this great country. Folks, let's welcome Peggy Flanagan.
Good evening. Thank you, Jamie. As we gather together on this historic night, we remember those who came before us, who fought and prayed this moment into existence. The suffragists and the abolitionists, the activists who fought for our rights, the leaders who paved the way for us all. Their courage and conviction shaped the course of history. Their memory reminds us that the fight for freedom always passes from one generation to the next. We owe it to them and to ourselves to carry their legacy forward. Tonight, we pay tribute to those who dared to dream of a country that truly stands for liberty and justice for all. Next, we'll hear from one of those people, a lifelong advocate for civil rights, Maxine Waters.
Wow. Hello, delegates. Now, you know, I've seen a lot in my lifetime. I was just 22 years old when Fannie Lou Hamer made her presence known at another Democratic convention. It was in 1964 in Atlantic City. And she arrived with a group of Black delegates from Mississippi.
Lord have mercy. So the Democratic National Convention has started.
She simply asked that her
And
delegates be seated in
it
place
is
of the state's
right
all-white
here,
delegation.
close
She
to
told the people in
Chicago.
the room
It's right
about
here
the
in
violence she
Chicago,
suffered
and I live
at the
in
hands
Joliet.
of white police because she, a Black woman, had demanded her right to vote.
So the
When she
Democratic
finished,
Party
she asked the
boys
country a simple but
um,
profound question. Is
have
this
tampon machines
America?
in the boys' bathrooms.
She didn't get the outcome she was hoping for in Atlantic City. But you can bet that when the official Mississippi delegation was seated at the convention 4 years later, Fannie Lou Hamer was sitting there with them. Now here we are, 60 years later at another Democratic convention with Kamala Harris as our party's nominee. Oh, so I know there is no better leader to marshal us into the future. Kamala has been a courtroom prosecutor, a district attorney, an attorney general, a United States senator, vice president of the United States. And when the dust settles in November, and Americans of all stripes have elected
Well, one thing
their
I have
president,
realized is it doesn't
I
matter who
know
I
she'll
vote
be
for,
thinking about
Democrat
Fannie
or
Lou,
Republican.
who I
They're not
happen
going
to
to help me.
know is one of Kamala's heroes. In that moment, all of us, from New York to Pennsylvania, to Arizona, to California, we can ask ourselves, is this America? And we will be able to say loudly and proudly, you're damn right it is.
This is the United Snakes of America. Remember, the United Snakes of America.
Please welcome President and CEO of the NAACP, Derek Johnson, and President and CEO of the National
Hey,
Coalition
Zoo,
on
how
Black
you
Civic
doing, Zoo?
Participation, Melanie Campbell.
Watching this DNC, you know, just trying to see,
Good evening.
you know, most black people
I'm
have
Derek
come off the
Johnson, President and
Democratic
CEO of the
plantation.
NAACP, and
We're
I'm
not
here to do my
falling for
black
y'all
job.
lies and stuff no more. We're sick of the Democrats.
Since the founding of our nation, we have been on an unending march
You've done
to
nothing
protect
for us.
this imperfect union.
You've had over
Tonight, we celebrate the
so many
power of the
years to
collective,
give us
of what is
reparations.
possible when we are all
Democrats don't
in
care
for
about the black
all
people.
people.
Get off the
But as
Democratic
we do,
plantation,
let us not
please.
forget the history that preceded this moment or the history makers who prepared us for it. As we just heard, in 1964,
Brainwash
the Mississippi Freedom
program.
Democratic Party, led by
It's
Fannie Lou
awful
Hamer,
how
and
we have been
Mississippi
programmed to
NAACP
vote
State President Aaron
for
Henry,
Democrats.
who stood tall and
And they
challenged
have
a
not given
process
us
that
anything.
excluded them
Every
to
other
ensure
ethnic
that we
race
will all be
has something.
recognized here tonight.
Wake up,
In
my people.
1973, the
Wake up.
historic elections of Atlanta's mayor, Maynard Jackson, Detroit's mayor, Comey Young, and LA's mayor, Tom Bradley, paved the way for another historic election just 10 years later, right here in Chicago, with the election of Harold Washington as the first black mayor of the city of Chicago. And in 1988, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, in his second quest for the White House, inspired us all
You
to
know who
keep
funded
hope
Donald Trump?
alive.
When Jesse Jackson ran, Donald Trump
Now, this
funded
is
his
important
campaign.
because we must all understand Black history is American history. And in this historic moment, we will write the next chapter together.
Good evening. I'm Melanie Campbell, President and CEO of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation and National Convener of the Black Women's Roundtable. We have come this far by faith. And for Black women, this moment has been a long time coming. Vice President Kamala Harris's path to becoming the Democratic nominee for President of the United States has been paved by the leadership, sacrifice, faith, and patriotism of generations of Black women. Black women like Dr. Dorothy Irene Height, Diane Nash, Ella Baker, Amelia Boynton Robinson, Barbara Jordan, Shirley Chisholm, and Reverend Willie Barrow. Women whose optimism about what America could be and their fight to make that vision real redefined the leadership role that Black women could play in moving our nation forward. As president, Kamala Harris will lead with power, brilliance, and strength from the highest office in the land.
We resist those attacks collectively, and we will stand together.
Do we believe in freedom?
Support human rights. We believe in that. Support self-determination. We're built on that.
Stronger together is not just a lesson from our history.
The institutions of this country belong to all of the people who inhabit it.
Jesse Jackson took to the stage at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, knowing the uphill battle he would face in composing the score of a harmonious nation.
Reverend Jackson started out very young. He opened the door, and he continues to do that even now, that all of us have a responsibility for other generations to come behind us.
Jesse Jackson's candidacy in 1984 helped to pave the way for Barack Obama's presidency in 2008. His 1988 candidacy helped to reshape the Democratic National Committee. His candidacy was before its time.
Fueled by passion and determination and marching to their own beat, our civil rights leaders laid the groundwork for lasting change, dreaming of a country where equality and justice inspired the next generation.
We need the energy of our young people. We need the wisdom of our elders. We all can be proud to say that we are truly a leading democracy and we respect people's ability to exist.
America is not like a blanket, one piece of unbroken cloth, the same color, the same texture, the same size. America is more like a quilt, many patches, many pieces, many colors, many sizes.
Standing on the shoulders of giants, Kamala Harris is the candidate who encompasses the brilliance, determination, analysis, and the action to carry the torch lit by the founders of the movement. There's only one choice to represent our collective voice.
What kind of country do we want to live in?
Value system of the modern Democratic Party has been shaped by the civil rights movement of the 1960s.
There's a direct line from 64, the National Democratic Convention, where Fannie Lou Hamer asked to be seated, and 2024, where a Black woman is the Democratic nominee. It's been a long struggle and a long journey, but Fannie's going to be vindicated and Shirley Chisholm's going to be vindicated in the 24 Democratic Convention.
I wonder if I could sit in a room with Shirley Chisholm, with Rosa Parks, with Coretta Scott King. What would they say about what's happening today?
The civil rights movement has been a key part of organizing the agenda, not just of the Democratic Party, but of democracy.
This is the hope that runs through Kamala Harris's leadership, one where hope, change, and freedom are the drumline of our democracy.
I stand before you today as a candidate for the Democratic nomination for the presidency of the United States of America.
I stand before you today to proudly announce I am now officially the Democratic nominee, President of the United States.
We must never surrender. America will get better. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
Please welcome founder and president of the Rainbow Push Coalition, Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Democrats, our first order of business is adopting an up-to-date convention agenda. When the Convention Rules Committee met, everyone was working on updating plans based on the significant changes that had just occurred. When the committee approved an agenda, it was a work in progress that members knew would need to be revised accordingly. We now have an agenda for the next 4 days. The agenda is included in the Standing Committee report booklet emailed to each convention participant. In addition to fantastic speakers and performers, tonight's agenda provides for adopting the up-to-date convention agenda, hearing the Credentials Committee report, hearing the Rules Committee report, and considering a resolution as recommended by the committee, hearing the Platform Committee report, and considering our national platform as recommended by the Platform Committee, and holding a confirmatory and ceremonial vote for our vice presidential nominee. Tuesday includes a ceremonial roll call for the presidential nominee. Wednesday, we'll hear ceremonial nominating speeches for our vice presidential nominee, and Governor Walz will make his acceptance speech. And on Thursday, my friends, we'll hear a ceremonial nominating speech for our presidential nominee, and Vice President Harris will make her acceptance speech. So now, delegates, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the up-to-date agenda. Is there a second? All in favor of approving the convention agenda, please say aye. All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Are we going to the next one?
Please welcome Credentials Committee co-chairs, Secretary Marcia Fudge and James Roosevelt Jr.
Greetings, my friends. It is an honor to have served as co-chair along my friend, Jim Roosevelt. Pursuant to the call, the Credentials Committee met and adopted a resolution to credential the delegates and alternates to the 2024 National Convention. I am pleased to report that there were no credentials issues to be decided by the committee. Their work allowed us to nominate 2 champions for democracy and freedom, Vice President Harris and Governor Walz.
Our delegate selection process is designed to ensure every voice is heard and every vision is heard, and our delegates accurately represent their electorates. Diversity is our party's strength, and I'm so proud to see the wonderful representation of our party and democracy here today. I am pleased to share that the Credentials Committee report was adopted and all delegates have been fully credentialed. In memory of Marvin Turner, we are going to have a great convention and we are going to win. Thank you.
Please welcome Rules Committee Co-Chair, Bishop Leah Daughtry.
Hello, Democrats. It was my honor to serve as co-chair of the Convention Rules Committee alongside my friend, Governor Tim Walz. Governor Walz is a little occupied this evening, but it's good to know that serving as co-chair of the Rules Committee is a ladder for promotion. The Rules Committee adopted the procedural rules of the convention on July 24th. They are based on long-standing processes governing our convention and ensured that we met all ballot access deadlines. The rules established the virtual nominating process for the party's nominees and set the stage for in-person votes at the convention to adopt our platform and resolutions recommended by the Rules Committee, as well as to cast celebratory votes on our nominees and hear their acceptance speeches. Under the Rules Committee authority, the Rules Committee is recommending for your approval 1 resolution. Contained in the committee's report, the resolution supports the current practice regarding automatic delegates, as well as other reforms to make our party stronger. The co-chairs are pleased to move the adoption of this resolution on behalf of the Rules Committee.
Thank you, Bishop Daughtry. The Rules Committee has moved the approval of the resolution. Is there a second? We have a second. I will now call for a voice vote on approving the resolution as recommended by the Rules Committee. All those in favor of the committee's recommendation to approve the unity resolution say aye. All opposed say nay. I'm pleased to report for the record that with a majority of delegates having voted in the affirmative, the resolution has been approved. My thanks to our Rules Committee co-chairs and members for your efforts to build a transparent and inclusive party. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Please welcome Platform Committee Co-Chairs, Mayor Mitch Landrieu and Mayor Regina Romero.
Fellow delegates, it is my pleasure to join Co-Chair Romero to present the national platform as recommended for approval by the committee. Our platform is grounded in our democratic values of hope, of progress, and love of our country. It makes a strong statement about the historic work that President Biden and Vice President Harris have accomplished hand in hand. And it presents a bold vision for our future. Kamala Harris will
Hey, I bring it every day.
Donald Trump will
Hey,
rip them
Albert.
away. Kamala Harris will lower costs for Americans, expand access to affordable health care, protect and strengthen Social Security and Medicare. Donald Trump will cut taxes for billionaires and big corporations. And he will
Kamala
pay for it by
Harris is
putting
in
healthcare and
office
Social
now.
Security
Why
on the
do we
chopping
have
block.
inflation?
Kamala
Why
Harris is
is
going to defend
food
our
so high?
democracy. Donald Trump is going to undermine it.
Why is
The choice before
inflation
us is
at an
clear,
all-time
and the
high?
stakes
And
could
so
not be
I'm
higher.
supposed to think, give
Buenas
her
noches, demócratas.
a chance. She's in office now. She's under
Mayor
the Biden
Landrieu, it was a
administration
pleasure to
right
serve as
now.
your co-chair.
And we
I
are
also
looking at
want to
high
recognize
food
Louisa
prices,
Terrell
gas
and the
prices,
drafting subcommittee for
immigrants
their
coming
work.
over here.
This platform was
Man,
passed by the
they
platform
can miss
committee
me
on July
with this
16
Camilla
prior to the
train.
president passing the torch in an act of love
Hey, Big
and
L,
patriotism.
you know the funny part of it is, y'all? The
And
protesters,
it's the
they
product of a
protested so much
comprehensive process
that
to
they are
engage with
building
leaders
a
from
wall.
all
They
corners
are
of our
building
winning
a wall around the United Center to stop the protesters
on hours of hearing
from coming through the barricades.
countless conversations with community leaders and grassroots Democrats. All were essential to producing a forward-looking vision for our party that echoes the voices of all. Vice President Harris is now carrying the torch.
So what has Vice President Harris been doing as the vice president? Wasn't she carrying the torch then?
His extreme agenda is working against everyday Americans. He is fighting for big oil, big pharma, big banks, but most of all, my fellow Democrats, he is fighting for himself. This November, we need to keep Democrats in office and elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz so we can implement an agenda that works for everyone.
Everyone, please hit the like
Cuando
button, please.
luchamos, ganamos. And with that, on behalf of the Platform Committee, we are pleased to move the adoption of the 2024 Democratic National Platform.
Thank you. The co-chairs have moved the approval of the national platform. Is there a second? We have a second. I will now call for a voice vote to approve the platform as recommended by the Platform Committee. All those in favor of approving the platform, please say aye. All opposed, say no. Co-chairs, I am pleased to report for the record that with the majority of the delegates having voted in the affirmative, the platform—
I need to understand why us people that's not on this Kamala Harris train,
as well
why
as
we gotta be hating on
Louisa Terrell.
her. No, I'm going by her policies, her past records. She's in office now. Wasn't she carrying the torch? Joe Biden is not in his right mind. He hasn't been.
When Kamala Harris set out to find her vice president, just 1 month ago, she was looking for someone who believes in our democracy, who works hard for the American people, and has an endless supply of hope for our future. She found that in Vice President Tim Walz. Come on, give it up for give it up.
Now, this vice president,
the Democratic Party officially nominated
it took him 3 days to bring in the National Guard.
while Governor
You know,
Walz's nomination has
he
already
made
been
bad
certified.
calls during the George Floyd
To
riots.
celebrate this
So,
future
you know
vice
how they
president's
play mind games with us. So
decency
now he's
and service
behind
to our
the
nation.
George Floyd bill.
Sheriff will
Why
entertain
hasn't
a
the
motion
George
to
Floyd bill
ceremonially
been passed?
confirm Governor
Why
Walz's
hasn't the
election
John
as the
Lewis
Democratic
bill
Party's
been
vice
passed?
presidential nominee. We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a second. We will now have a voice vote on the motion to ceremonially confirm our vice presidential nominee. All in favor of the motion, please proudly say aye.
Exactly, Big L.
All opposed? The ayes have it. I'm thrilled.
Hey, Chuck,
Proudly
it was so many protesters out there. They would have went through them barricades anyway. They had too many people down there protesting.
Yes, USA.
Yeah, you are right. What has any vice president done?
Governor Walz
Well,
has
I
been
thought they were
invited to
supposed
make
to
an
be a
acceptance
team when they were in
to deliver
office,
on
the
Wednesday,
president
August
and the
21st.
vice president.
Thank you, my friends.
Am I right?
Delegates, please
They're
welcome
supposed
to
to
the
be a
stage
team for the
co-chair
American people.
Peggy Flanagan to resume chairing our convention.
So Kamala Harris says if we vote for her, she's gonna stop price gouging and everything. But check this out. So we gotta wait 2 years. Man, they can listen it.
Well, good evening, and welcome to the first night of the Democratic National
Big L,
Convention.
when Donald Trump was president, he signed executive orders. Joe Biden could have signed an executive order the same way Barack Obama could have signed executive orders. Okay?
Rally around Kamala Harris
We
and
woke.
Tim
I'm
Walz
woke.
and their vision
Don't,
for
don't,
America.
don't come with them excuses talking about what Congress won't do and what these other people won't do.
In this arena, it's filled with energy and with joy. Our theme tonight is for the people. We'll hear from union leaders, civil rights advocates, and our fellow citizens. And we'll hear from our president, Joe Biden, who has been a champion for
Kamala
the people.
Harris says she's not going to do anything that's going to help blacks only.
My name in the Ojibwe language
Yeah, it's Big Illinois.
is Iji Wewedam Ukwe. Or
I
in
know
English,
it's Big Illinois. I'm calling them Big L for short. But Big Illinois, check this
the
out.
White Earth Nation, and
Kamala
my family
Harris
is the Wolf
said,
Clan.
I'm not going to do anything that's going to help black people only. So that means the John Lewis and the George Floyd bill won't be passed, right?
Of the United States.
Because she's not going to do anything that's going to help blacks only.
6 years, I've worked side by side with Governor Walz. I've seen how hard he's worked for Minnesota to be the best place for kids to grow up.
Big Illinois, look at Chicago, ran by Democrats, and they done
a bottomless
posted
bag of snacks, Nutter Butters,
my city where I was born in a house, 4225 South Parkway.
Because he's always got my back. And when he's vice president, he will always have yours. He and Kamala Harris have spent their lives fighting for you, for your family, for your future. So whether you're a lifelong Democrat or just tuning in, thank you for
Well,
being
why
part of
can't
this
she say it? I wanna help the black people. They had no problem helping the Asians.
COVID pandemic
Why
upended our
can't she
lives.
say it?
My brother Ron was the second person to die of COVID in the state of Tennessee. We couldn't see him,
Oh yeah, we were lied
we
to
couldn't
with
have
that
a memorial,
administration too.
and millions of American families went through the same thing. Our
Yeah, we were
communities were suffering,
made to take a
our
vaccination.
economy was struggling, and Donald Trump was playing games. Our country was brought to the brink by his failure to respond. But the Biden-Harris
The Democrats
administration
asked
stepped
for
in
what?
with quick and decisive
For what?
action.
What did they ask for, Chuck?
They contained the virus, created
I'm
millions
just
of
doing
jobs, and
commentary
invested in
because
our
really,
nation's
I'm not voting for a
Under their
president.
leadership,
I'm not
America
voting. I will
began
not vote
to heal.
because I don't. You know, they're not going to do anything for me.
Are there words about a pandemic at this point?
No, we're not at all. We have it totally under control. We think we have it very well under control. We pretty much shut it down. A lot of people think that goes away in April with the heat. We're in very good shape. Because of all we've done, the risk to the American people remains very low. View this the same as the flu. It's going to disappear. One day it's like a miracle. It will disappear. We all together have done a very good job. We think the death will
All
be
I
a
know
very low
is
number. I see the
the
disinfectant. Is
Democrats
there a way we can do something like that?
and
By
all of these years
inside or
after Abraham Lincoln was assassinated,
hydroxychloroquine. Right
because
now,
Abraham
you detest
Lincoln
too
was
much.
going
You
to
do know
give us
Who says that?
reparations.
Just read the manuals,
We've
read the books.
never gotten them.
Read the books. I think it's under control. I'll tell you what. How? 1,000
And
Americans are
we're
dying
not
a day. They
going
are
to
dying.
get
That's
that.
true. It is what it is.
Help is on the way, and it is long overdue.
The $1.9 trillion COVID
Everything
relief
that's
bill
going
gives
on
stimulus
right
aid
now, they
directly to
ask
struggling
for it, and
Americans.
Our
people
plan
out
is
here
about what we need
complaining.
to do around a national strategy for
So
contact
people
tracing, for
don't
testing,
ask
for
for,
administration of the vaccine, and
people
making
want
sure that it will be free
politicians
for
that's
all.
going to be
Tonight, the U.S.
fair,
is nearing a
not
major milestone
dirty,
in the fight against the coronavirus.
not,
The U.S. is about to deliver the 200th million COVID shots since President Biden took office, beating his target by about a week.
Millions of American students returned to school earlier this month after more than a year of remote learning. Sports venues are filling up and concerts are getting scheduled.
I'm feeling great. Business is definitely ramped up.
I'm so thankful.
To be able to serve our customers again after all this, it's a blessing.
So, Chuck, are you telling me I asked
Please
for
welcome
food
Illinois Representative
prices
Lauren
to be
Underwood.
high? And due to my income, I only get $23 a month in food stamps. But with groceries being so high, I'm paying close to $200 to $300 a month, and
is
I'm
the
on a
worst
fixed income,
public health crisis
and
in
I
a
can't
century.
complain about that
Donald Trump failed
because
us.
of this administration.
Biden and
Joe
Kamala
Biden
Harris
has
got
failed
it
us.
under control.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris has
Trump
failed
said,
us too.
it is what it is. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris said, help is on the way. Democrats in Congress tried to lower the cost of health care. Donald Trump tried to take our health care away. We tried to expand Social Security and Medicare. Donald Trump tried to cut them year after year after year. He took the COVID crisis and turned it into a catastrophe. We can never let him be our president again. As a registered nurse, I care deeply about making healthcare more affordable. As someone with a pre-existing condition, I am determined to protect the people who are most at risk. And as the youngest Black woman ever elected to Congress, I am painfully aware that Black women, especially pregnant women and new moms, were more likely to die from COVID. I wrote the Momnibus to protect those women and to address the maternal health crisis. And that bill was introduced and championed
by Senator Kamala Harris. Because she protects the people who are most vulnerable. She's done it for her whole career. As vice president, she and President Biden passed my legislation to make healthcare more affordable. And now 4 out of 5 Americans can get covered through the Affordable Care Act for $10 or less per month. And under the Biden-Harris administration, the number of uninsured Americans hit an all-time low. 4 years ago, it was not safe to hold a convention like this. But tonight, thousands have gathered in this arena in my home state of Illinois to make sure Kamala Harris is the next president of the United States. We have come so far these past 4 years, and we're not going back. Thank you.
My name is Rich Logis. I live in Florida, and until 2 years ago, I was a full-fledged member of MAGA. I believed Trump. I was a MAGA pundit. I had my own podcast. I was in a state of panic, terrified that Democrats were destroying our country. When the pandemic hit, we needed leadership, but we were given almost nothing. It was a major betrayal to the country. So I finally stepped outside the MAGA echo chamber. I stopped listening to what Trump said and looked around with my own eyes. And I realized he had been lying about pretty much everything. Lying is Trump's toxic superpower. He's ripped apart families, communities, our whole country. So this is my message to all the Republicans and independents who are watching. People like me who voted for and believed in Trump. I made a grave mistake, but it's never too late to change your mind. You don't need to agree with everything you hear tonight to do what is right. We need to be able to trust our leaders. That's why I'm all in for Kamala Harris.
Please welcome California Representative Robert Garcia.
Thank you. Thank you. We all remember. We all remember the world in 2020, where we were, and for some of us, who we lost. Now, I was in my second term as mayor of Long Beach, California. And my mom was a healthcare worker. Like many of you, I watched in terror and horror as the COVID pandemic consumed our lives. As mayor, I fought for more hospital beds, for more tests, and to make masks more accessible. What we needed at that moment was national leadership. But instead, we got Donald Trump. While schools closed and dead bodies filled morgues, Donald Trump downplayed the virus. He told us to inject bleach into our bodies. He peddled conspiracy theories across the country. We lost hundreds of thousands of Americans and our economy collapsed. Now, that summer of 2020, my mom and my stepfather both died of the COVID pandemic. And I miss them every single day. So when Donald Trump and his MAGA extremists like Marjorie Taylor Greene downplay the horror of the pandemic, it should make us all furious. Now, I will never forget when Kamala Harris called me after my parents died. She told me about her own story, about losing her own mother, and that she was praying for me at that very moment. Now, we all know that later that year, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were elected president and vice president. And what a difference they made together. They got people vaccinated. They got the virus under control. They safely reopened our schools. And they passed the American Rescue Plan. A historic economic package that helped small businesses and created jobs all across the country. Thank you, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Now, I am a proud immigrant who came to the United States as a young child. We grew up poor. English was our second language, and we often, like many immigrant families, struggled to get by. But my mom, she moved here to the United States because she believed in the American dream. I'll never forget the day that I became a United States citizen. I raised my right hand and I pledged an oath to protect and to love this country. It was the proudest day of my life. My mom taught me to love this country. She taught me that real American patriotism is not about screaming and yelling America first. Real American patriotism is loving your country so much that you want to help the people in your country. That is American patriotism. And we all know that Kamala Harris understands and knows this as well. Kamala Harris is ready to lead this country. We can all remember 2020. We can all remember the horrors of Donald Trump. But let's remember, most importantly, tonight and every single day this week, that we are not going back. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Ryan from Kamala HQ. And we have a little game we like to play here called Two Lies and a Lie. We list out 3 things Donald Trump has said, and then we try to figure out if any one of them is true, which they're not. Let's play. First up, jobs. Trump claims his administration created more jobs than we ever had before. He says we had the greatest economy ever, and then we got hit with COVID, and he says he created a manufacturing jobs miracle. Let's dig in. More jobs than we ever had before? Trump lost 3 million jobs. In fact, he's the first president to lose jobs since Herbert Hoover. What about this claim that it was the greatest economy ever and only COVID tanked it? Once again, no. Let's take a look at his track record on jobs before COVID as compared to the Biden-Harris administrations. What do you know? Hardly the most successful ever. And about his supposed manufacturing miracle, Trump talked a big game, but actually lost 178,000 manufacturing jobs. And just to be clear, it wasn't just COVID here either. Manufacturing jobs were already on their way down before the pandemic. So that's round 1. And it looks like what we have here is 2 lies and another lie. You get the hang of it? I'll see y'all in a little bit.
Donald Trump downplayed COVID while Americans were living in fear. He lied about creating jobs while our communities were fighting to survive. But the Biden-Harris administration stepped up. They actually took decisive action to create jobs, support small businesses, and rebuild a stronger and more resilient economy. Kamala Harris is a leader we can trust, even in our most challenging moments, especially in those moments. Donald Trump dithers, Kamala Harris delivers. Donald Trump abandons vulnerable people, Kamala Harris protects them. Donald Trump bullies scientists, Kamala Harris believes them. Our next two speakers will tell us why that's so important. Please welcome Brian Wallach and Sandra Abravaya.
In 2008, we met while working on the Obama-Biden campaign. We found our way there because we believe in the power of organizing. Then we found each other. The day we brought our second daughter home from the hospital, Brian was diagnosed with ALS. I was told I had 6 months to live. That was 7 years ago. We could not change Brian's diagnosis, but we knew how to organize. So we co-founded a nonprofit called I Am ALS, and thousands of terminally ill patients fought for new therapies, $1 billion to fund ALS research, and earlier access to treatments, all of which President Biden signed into law. We will also keep fighting alongside patients living with Parkinson's, young onset dementia, and Alzheimer's. We've seen just how relentless activism can beat the odds, just like what Brian has been doing for 7 years. And that is what we need right now to elect Kamala Harris. She's the daughter of a breast cancer researcher. She knows the promise of science and that patients need to be able to get the care they need wherever they live. We all want to make life better for the next generation and believe that people like Brian can be the first generation of survivors. And we can make life better for our caregivers too. Brian and I are still driven by hope and by faith in what we can do collectively, and that includes the power of our vote. This November, we are voting for our future. Because we plan to be around for it.
Please welcome Illinois Senator Dick Durbin.
I've known Brian and Sandra for years. In fact, Sandra was my personal press secretary. You will not find a more courageous couple. Let's give Brian and Sandra another round of applause. In every election campaign, we Democrats talk about jobs. Now forget for a moment Donald Trump's wild claims. He lost millions of jobs in America. He promised to bring back manufacturing jobs, but he failed. He promised to deliver infrastructure, but he failed. His record was defined by failure. To put it another way, Donald Trump is like a bad boss. You want time off to take care of your sick parents? Ask Donald Trump. Denied. In Donald Trump's America, there is no paid family leave. Want to have a child, but need IVF? Too bad. That's shut down too. Want a pay raise? Too bad. The boss just gave himself one, so there's nothing left for you. Donald Trump reminds us of a boss we all had. The guy who thinks he's a very stable genius, but is driving the company into the ground. Now get this, Donald Trump did make history. Let's give him credit. He is one of only 2 presidents in the history of the United States to leave office with fewer Americans working than when he started. Now he wants a chance to make America unemployed again. On the other hand, let's take a look at the record of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They recovered all those millions of jobs that Trump watched slip away. They added over 6 million jobs on top of that. 16 million jobs in total. 16 million. Today, more roads are getting fixed, more factories are being built, more Americans are working construction, and more auto workers are making cars than on any month when Trump was president. And we know behind every job is a person or community forever changed. Data centers in Wisconsin, semiconductors in Pennsylvania, electric vehicles in Michigan. Yes, hello Michigan. These investments mean strong economy, growing public schools, and well-funded, well-staffed first responders. These investments mean hope. That's what Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are fighting for. They'll fight for the places that are too often left behind. Fight to change lives and uplift communities. Fight to bring back American manufacturing. My friend, Ed Smith, a giant of the Illinois laborers, he's a great fellow. We lost him this year. But Ed Smith told us there's joy in this battle. When we win, we help people buy their first homes, send their kids to college, and retire with dignity. Incidentally, that happens to be my family's story too. My mom and dad worked for the railroad. Because we were a strong union family, we were able not just to get by, but to get ahead. That's the American economy Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are fighting for. Let's join that fight and build it together. Now let's hear from some union workers on the ground in Arizona, thanks to the Biden-Harris administration investment in America.
Welcome to Phoenix. Donald Trump said he'd bring back American manufacturing, but Joe Biden and Kamala Harris actually did it. Thanks to them, plumbers and pipe fitters like us are building the factories, semiconductor plants, and data centers of the future. We are hard at work in Phoenix, Mesa, Goodyear, Chandler, and more. Our neighborhoods, schools, and local businesses are growing. Sometimes we have so many projects that we send fabrication out to other states. Our local union is now up to 4,800 trades members. That's up from 2,800 in 2020, thanks to Joe and Kamala.
And it's an exciting time for us in the next generation. Our apprenticeship program now trains over 1,100 people a year. Every year at local high schools, when they announce what graduated seniors are doing next, more and more of these kids are joining the trades. My son is a senior in high school this year, and he plans to join us. Not just for the great career and the financial security that all us parents want for our kids, but it's because he's excited to work on the cutting edge of innovation. Kamala Harris will keep investing in American manufacturing. With her commitment, there's nothing that us American workers can't build.
Please welcome Ohio Representative Joyce Beatty.
Good evening. I'm Joyce Beatty, and I'm proud to represent Ohio in Congress. I was born in the Buckeye State, and I've never left. Now, J.D. Vance likes to talk about how he's from Ohio, but as soon as he could, he ran away to Yale and Silicon Valley, cozying up with billionaires while trashing our communities. JD has been our senator for 18 months. And what has he done for hardworking Americans? Nothing. He's been busy writing the foreword to the book from the Project 2025 guy. While JD and Donald Trump have been sharing conspiracy theories from the darkest corners of our internet, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have been busy expanding access to the internet, while the other guys have been criticizing women without children. Joe and Kamala have been expanding the child tax credit. And let me just tell you, cutting the poverty rate for our children. Kamala and Joe Biden have been also at the same time reducing the price of health care for our seniors. And yes, securing a cap of $35
You know,
on
I get sick of this childish kitty behavior.
Katie and Trump, they want to take us
I
back to
don't,
the past.
you know, they always talking about what Trump and Vance want to send us back to.
Today,
All of this is childish rhetoric talk to me.
a
Talking about they want to set us back.
$280 billion investment. And that's not just a big number.
You know, I'm so sick of hearing they want to set us back. They want to do that. But look how we're living now. Look how we living now.
Kamala to pass.
This is crazy. I have people here in my building where I live that's choosing between food and medicine. They can miss me with all of this BS rhetoric.
And patience.
None of these people care about the regular American people. If you're not rich, hey, if you're not rich, you will not get anything in this world. I cannot help it. Donald Trump is born with a silver spoon in his mouth.
Friend,
You know.
Governor Tim Walz.
But all the comparing, he's gonna make us a dictator. Well, let me see. How long have my people been Democratic people?
Actions speak
Again,
louder than words.
the Democrats,
Are you ready to vote
why
for
no
Kamala
one
Harris?
challenged what
Are you ready
Abraham
to put
Lincoln put
people
in
over
place
politics
to
once
give
and for
us
all?
40 acres and a mule?
Well, the era of
Why has
joy
nobody,
and
hey
freedom
Roger,
is upon
nobody
us.
has never
And
challenged
now
that
it is on
for
us
black
to
people?
go seize it. Thank you. God bless you.
Nobody. They've overlooked us and they've overlooked us, both parties. But black people, we stayed on the
Please welcome
Democratic
acting President
plantation
Lee
and we
Saunders,
still haven't
SPIC
gotten
President April
reparations.
Barrett, Liuna General President Cory
Nobody
Booker, IBEW
tried to make it
International
right.
President Ken Cooper,
Nobody.
CWA President
After
Claude Cummings,
Abraham
and
Lincoln was
AFL-CIO
assassinated,
President Liz Schuler.
Lyndon B. Johnson, that was out squashed. So they can't tell me nothing. Nothing. Can't none of these politicians tell me nothing.
Union, yes. Union, yes. Union, yes. Union, yes. All right. I'm Lee Saunders, president of AFSCME, a union of 1.4 million public service workers in healthcare, corrections, sanitation, and more. 4 years ago, we faced a pandemic and a recession with a president who didn't care one bit what working people were going through. Enter Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Within weeks, they passed the American Rescue Plan, pulling the economy back from the brink and putting us back to work. They're guided by a basic principle: more freedom for working people, including the freedom to join a union. So this November, we're moving forward with Kamala Harris as our president.
I am April Barrett, and I am the president of SEIU, representing 2 million service and care workers. We're all in for Kamala Harris because Kamala Harris has always been all in for us. Vice President Harris joined fast food workers on the picket line, and she walked a day in the shoes of a home care worker. She shares our vision for a modern-day labor movement, a movement that meets the needs of workers in the 21st century, and an economy that is ready for the future. It is going to be together that we write new rules to make it easier for all workers to join a union. And we are going to build a younger, darker, hipper, fresher, sneaker-wearing labor movement. A movement that is going to be more inclusive and built for the middle class. And we are going to end poverty wage work for once and for all. So let's do the work. Let's elect Kamala Harris so that together we will usher in a new era of worker power, and together we will win the future. Let's go get it.
I'm Brent Booker, and I'm proud to represent LIUNA, the Laborers International Union of North America. We're construction workers, public employees, and postal mail handlers. For decades, we've fought for more investment in our infrastructure. While Trump made empty promises, the Biden-Harris administration delivered. Now we're rebuilding highways, bridges, and tunnels, and powering a clean energy and manufacturing boom. Thanks to them, our members can buy a home, put their kids through school, retire with dignity. As president, Kamala Harris will keep fighting for workers who are building America. Hello. I'm Kenny Cooper, representing 840,000 IBW members, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. The IBW powers America, from fire alarms to solar farms, nuclear plants to battery plants, storm restoration to power lines, and we've been doing it for over 130 years. Today, we're building a new energy future while providing great paying jobs and a stable retirement for all working families. Every step of the way, Kamala Harris has been there for us. She's bringing back American manufacturing to forgotten places throughout our country. She cast the deciding vote to save our pension plans. She's lifted our apprentices up all over the nation. And guess what? She's not afraid to use the word union.
Specific zip codes who pay more than $70 a month in electricity bills can now switch to solar without paying a dime out of pocket. This program is only a good fit for those who pay more than $70 a month in electricity and have a history of paying their bills on time. So if this isn't you, no hard feelings. Go ahead and click the skip button below. But if this does sound like you may have been skeptical about making the switch to solar because you were afraid of the huge price tag attached. Don't worry, great news incoming in 13 seconds. That's because going solar is now extremely affordable. You can do it without paying a single dime on a down payment, meaning you'll finally be able to cut costs on your electric bills. It all starts by clicking the button below and taking our energy savings quiz. Once you answer a few short questions, we'll let you know if you qualify. Homeowners who switch can save hundreds on their electricity bill. On top of that, the federal government pays you thousands of dollars to make the switch to solar. Thanks to the federal tax credit, homeowners can claim their solar system on their taxes and receive up to 30% of the total price of their system back. The program for
Terrell, this is where one of the larger protests is planned for the first day of the convention. Thousands of people are expected here today in Union Park, many of them gathering behind me now. You can hear there's music playing from the stage there. Different groups are kind of siloed in different areas of the park right now. The rally and march begins in just 1 hour here. The group, comprised of more than 200 organizations, represents a host of issues, one of which calls for an end to the Israel-Hamas war. The coalition's other demands include money for jobs, school, healthcare, housing, immigration rights, LGBTQ, and reproductive rights. Stage and sound system equipment were bussed into the park early this morning. Protesters say they want to bring their agenda within sight and sound of the Democratic Party leadership. Pro-Palestinian protesters say they are not pleased with how the White House has handled the war in Gaza and say Vice President Kamala Harris still has some work to do to earn their vote.
Make no mistake, Joe Biden can turn off that tap of money and funding immediately. He could do it right now. He could have done it back in October. The fact that he didn't means he supports this genocide, that he's got the blood of 40,000 Palestinians on his hands, and that he and Kamala Harris and Anthony Blinken and Jeffries and Schumer and Pelosi and Chikowski and Durbin and all the top Democrats are complicit.
And the group plans to march for roughly 1 mile, again, beginning here in Union Park at noon. This comes after 2 people were arrested yesterday at the first DNC protest in the Loop.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC7.
Hey, can y'all hear me? Hold on. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. Oh, hold on. Okay. Okay. Should be able to hear me now. Can you hear me, Angel? Can you hear me now? First, I want to say this. Like I tell people, I don't have a dog in this fight. None of these, the Democrats, Republican, Independents, there really might be some people that really, really, really care about the people. But I've realized that politics, all of them are a bunch of liars, schemers, cheaters. Um, so I'm just doing commentary the same way I did for the Republican National Convention. I talked about Trump, and I'm going to talk about Kamala. I don't have a dog in this fight. These folks don't care about me, little old me, woman that just turned 62. They don't care that groceries have went up, you know, that now I've got to spend $200 to $250, $300 a month to eat. That's coming out of a check on a fixed income. These people don't care about little old me, little old you. They all make promises, and you know, ain't none of them gonna do anything. Yeah, it's just, I'm just a little old woman that's just doing commentary. What I don't like and what I find that I'm just appalled at is that, the truth is the Democratic Party should have been the ones to give us reparations so many years ago. Okay, nobody has never done that, and it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Then most of the black leaders, black governors, mayors, everybody, you take somebody like Kamala Harris, you know, they went along with the program of locking us up, locking black men up. Now, people can say what they want to say. Well, they shouldn't have got in trouble. Well, you know, stop and frisk was something black men didn't ask for, okay? It's not something they asked for. I used to have a dream that my people, we would be united and come together, but we so messed up. Just because I can talk about Kamala Harris, I can talk about Donald Trump, I can talk about them all I want. I can talk about Kamala Harris. Same way I talked about Hillary Clinton. You know, you bring these people's faults up, nobody wants to hear it. And people can change the world. And there are some great people out there that's trying to change the world, that's making a difference. There are people that are out here that are struggling. There are people that have darn nearly bankrupt their own lives fighting for something that they believe in so you and I could live better. But these people, they don't get the recognition and the credit that they deserve. Uh-oh. Okay. Can y'all hear me now? I didn't have to get on another device. They out here working on the internet. But check this out. You are so right, Angel. Everybody, long as they keep us divided, arguing against each other, long as you people, and that's anybody, y'all get mad, y'all want to leave, y'all don't respect other people's opinions, we're going to stay divided. I ain't on no Kamala Harris train. I'm just not. I ain't on no Donald Trump train. I want somebody that's gonna be fair. But I could sit here and I can listen to you hypocrites. Y'all say, oh, we're going. Crap. We can hear people say, oh, dang it, we need to be divided. I mean, we need to be united. We need to all stick together. We all need to stick together. You got people right now. Well, that's what I say. I have a right not to choose. In my opinion, should be respected. I don't have to choose either one of them. I'm not voting for the lesser of two evils. I don't have to make my vote. Hey, Heather Hunter Johnson. Hey, y'all. Maybe they don't like what I am saying. I choose love, and you're right, Heather Hunter Johnson. I choose love. I treat people the way they treat me. I love all people. But I have a special love for my people because, you know, we We've been divided. They did a good job of dividing us, light skinned, dark people. We carry so many generational curses. We sweep a lot of stuff under the rug. We, you know, we'll get up and act like everything is okay. We some of the greatest pretenders. We the greatest pretenders. I'm not pretending. I get on here, if I ain't feeling good, I say I'm not feeling good. I'm going through something. I don't have anything to prove to anybody. Anybody. Especially now, the older I get and the more I see stuff, it makes me speak out on it. Whether it's blacks, whites, anything. But mostly my people. Because I thought I would see a day where we would unite and come together, but that's not going to happen. You got people that don't like you because you believe in God. You got people that don't like you because, uh, we don't know where we come from. I am a black American. I was born in the United States of America. I'm not trying to live. I don't know what tribe I come from, what plantation. I don't know none of that. But what I do know is that I am supposed to do the right thing. I have not always been perfect, and I'm not perfect now. I screw up. I probably made mistakes as a parent, as a daughter. I might have made some mistakes on here by thinking everybody was on the up and up on the YouTube. People saying what they was, you believed them. Come to find out, some of these people, you know, they ain't shit. And I'm just doing commentary. And so if anybody wants to get eh, upset, like I say, I will still say, um, black people have been voting Democratic for so long, and it's like, what has it gotten you? Like all of these major cities that's ran by Democrats have been run to the ground. Uh, Nobody, not one of these Democratic presidents said they was gonna make it right and give us reparations. And reparations, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's not going to happen. And then I don't need somebody that's programmed. If you program to say, I'm not going to do anything that's going to help black people only, but you do all this other kind of stuff, you're not shit neither in my book. We got fooled by Barack. Now, I do have an issue. Everybody that's our skin color, they ain't went through half the stuff that a regular black person done went through. Black, and to be honest, if you're not rich, if you're not rich or have a whole lot of money, them people don't care about us. They need to start paying us to vote for them, as far as I'm concerned. Start paying me for my vote. Oh, and let me tell you something. I'm so proud of people that made sure we got our voting rights. You know, Martin Luther King and all of them people. But I know they would want our vote to be voting for somebody that's gonna make a difference and help the poor people. Nobody's not. Nobody's not for the poor people. But this country, the United States, they came over, invaded, moved the Indians out, made Mexico, some of them, made us slaves. This is the United States of America. Yeah. And then we all living, everybody out here living paycheck to paycheck. But it's all, people are falling out for over voting, who they gonna vote for. And I'm just, when they say, oh, if you vote for Trump, he's gonna be a dictator, and he said this and he said that. Hell, I just do commentary. Like I say, I don't have a dog in this fight because I'm not voting for the president. I'll vote for everybody else, president and vice president. I'll go and see what's on the ballot. Matter of fact, voting is so easy now, you can vote by mail now. Send your ballots in. Kamala Harris is saying what she's going to do, how she's going to stop the food gouging and all of that stuff. And what I say is, oh, so I got to wait 2 years? No, you're in office now. You're under Joe Biden. So then, yeah, I see I had people earlier talking about what has the vice president ever done. Well, if they were all in the White House, they should have all been working together for the people. If she cared anything about food prices, they know what the economy is like. They know what Bidenomics is like now. Fix it now. How did you let it get like this? Fix it now. You knew what was going on. I don't want to hear nothing about Kamala Harris getting ready to be the savior, and she was sitting up there in the White House with Joe Biden. I don't care if they didn't like each other or whatever. You knew what food prices was like. You know what this inflation is like. I ain't trying to hear none of that. None of these dreams and promises. Hopes. And then if you don't get on this Kamala bandwagon, don't nobody tell me who to vote for. I vote for policies anyway. You won't see these people at the election time. Kamala Harris ain't been to no church. She ain't did nothing. Who they done had up there in the White House? What about Jamari Love? What about the lady she sent to prison? What about the lady that went to jail with her truancy program? I have the right as an American citizen and the freedom of speech to be able to express how I feel about a candidate. And I talk about them all. But the worst ones I talk about is the ones we want to make them like they've been the best people on earth. So 4 more years of Bidenomics, you know, no plan to fix, the inner cities, no black economic plan, but they sure, they'll find money to help everybody else. And this has been a continuous cycle, how black people have always been pushed aside. Everybody can get money but black people. But they pass laws. You look at all of the Democrats. You look at every Democrat. You look at what, especially the women. You look at what these women have called black men. You look at the Clinton, Hillary Clinton. You look at what Kamala done did. So I'm just a little old blogger that's just giving commentary, just expressing my opinion, and again, I'm gonna say these Democratic cities with these Democrats running them have been ran to the ground, especially a city like Chicago, Illinois. So I want to thank y'all for joining me. I'll be glad when this election is over with, because at the end of the day, I've got to survive. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna have my medicine and a roof over my head. You know, you wanna see the youth come up and be proud to be an American, to be living in this United States. But the United States of America was built on a lie. So that's why we see all the corruption with all of the politicians, all of these elected officials. I mean, it's just a mess. The whole world is a stage, and we're just players in this. What I'm gonna encourage people to do is, if you can't stand in the fire, you can't stand the fire, don't touch that pan. Don't touch that skillet. Okay? Because you are a sorry person, and this is only in my opinion. You are a sorry person if you cannot respect somebody's opinion. And stop making excuses. If we're talking about Kamala, we talking about Kamala. Don't compare her to Trump. Talk about what Kamala has done or hasn't done. Talk about what Trump hasn't done. But I tell you one thing. When Trump was president, he sure signed executive orders. He signed executive orders. He didn't wait on Congress and all of that. And again, just remember, Kamala said she not doing something for blacks only. So we won't see John Lewis or the George Floyd bill passed. Then y'all won't hear from these people to another 4 years from now. You won't hear from them. You won't see them. They'll get in office. You still got to get up and go to work. You still got to fight insurance companies. You still got to pay high food costs. You know, you still, people now have to work 2 and 3 jobs. Everybody's not college material. So what about those people? You know, you know, if you are a McDonald's fast food worker to working for a Fortune 500 company, you are still somebody and you still contribute because these folks take taxes out of your paycheck. You are somebody. I am somebody. My name is Darlene April of the April Showers Network, and I thank you for joining me for this show. Um, I'll probably come back when Camilla does do her acceptance speech, but I'm gonna tell y'all this. You know, y'all sit up. This is what kills me, and then I'm gonna be gone for real. Is everybody talks about what Trump said. Well, go on the internet and look at what Hillary Clinton said about black men. You know, look at Joe Biden with the crime bills. But you know, y'all can give people certain passes. Y'all want to act like Trump the worst person in the world. But these other people done shown y'all and then said exactly how they feel. Put that in your mind. What these people have shown you. I will say Trump didn't do anything to hurt or help black people. He didn't pass no laws to lock them up, stop and frisk. You going to jail if you do this instead of sending you to an addiction clinic. So everybody, y'all have a great day, a great life. And this battle of politics, it ain't for us to be fighting. It ain't for us to be falling out. We should just be respectful of each other. And, you know, everybody has an agenda. So, everybody be blessed. Have a good night. I'm ready. Cook some dinner and finish watching this mess. But everybody, remember, you are somebody. I don't care who you are, what type of lifestyle you're living, because you don't have to answer to me. Um, I love everybody, regardless of your race, color, creed. We all want the same thing. We all want to be able to have a roof over our head, food to eat, a car to drive, and take some vacation. I think that's what most people want. I don't need 1,000 dresses. Yeah. And then the division. As long as these people and everybody remember, people create division. See, they have black people divided now with this Kamala Harris thing. Like, if you don't like Kamala Harris, you know, we got to vote for her because she's alleged black and all of that. Don't fall for that. If you don't like Kamala Harris because of her policies, that's why you don't like her. She can be talked about just like anybody else can be talked about. This is April Showers. Thanks for joining me. Peace out, everybody.